What's going on, guys? So just to confirm that you can see me and also hear me right now, just type a 1 in the chat box and go ahead and post any questions if you guys have any in the questions box, and I'll answer them. Just had some free time, so I figured I would do a live stream and help you guys out with anything specific that you may be struggling with in your trading, or just anything you wanted to talk about in general. Sweet, thanks, Emmanuel. So yeah, guys, if you have any questions, just go ahead and post them in the chat box, and we'll just kind of hang out for a bit, and I'll go over anything that you need help with. Let me know if you guys can hear this music in the background. And everything still sounds good. I'm not going to play it too loud, but I just want to make sure that you can hear the music and also hear me talking too. What's up, man? So Terrell, the biggest loss that I've taken, it was about like $980, and the funny thing is, whenever I took that loss, it was an NFP Friday, and at the time I was working at AT&T. I lived in Louisiana at the time, and I was working at AT&T, and I had work that morning. And that's Central Standard Time. So whenever you would be trading there during New York session, it would be like anywhere from like 6 to about 8 a.m. And I had work for 9 a.m. So I placed a trade at like 7 or something like that. And I was watching the trade, and then NFP came out at 7:30 a.m. And the market ended up going in my favor for a bit. And then what ended up happening was it put me basically in drawdown because the market ended up reversing during NFP. Like NFP shot up and then it spiked down, and I was in a buy order, but it ended up shooting down, so it would have been logical to sell. But what ended up happening was I was waiting outside for work, and then that same day I had lost $980, and then I had to go work an 8-hour shift and basically deal with people all day at AT&T trying to sell them like cell phone plans and like DirecTV and all this crazy stuff. And yeah, man, like that was crazy. Losing basically $1,000 in a day and then having to go work that same day for an additional 8 hours. It was horrible. That was a really bad day. But how I dealt with it was, I mean, at the end of the day, I just pretty much pushed through the day, and just like, at the end of the day, tomorrow was a new day. But it was over a weekend, so it was kind of like going into that weekend, it really sucked because I had this whole mentality like, shit, I just lost $1,000, and now I have to. So I blew my account. I lost $1,000. I blew my account that I had at the time, and right before work. So then I start, the next week I have to fund a new account. And then basically have to rebuild my confidence that like I know what to do. And at the time I really didn't know much at all. But what pretty much changed it for me was I started practicing a lot on demo. So until I funded my account again, like I did fund it the next week, but I didn't actually take any live trades on it because I was actually really nervous because I had just lost all that money. And so what I did was I started practicing more with a demo account, and I don't know what the demo account was at the time. It may have been like $2,000 or so, $1,000 to $2,000, and I built that up to about like $45,000 or something like that. And then I pretty much, at the time I was like, okay, I'm ready to, start taking trades live again. And then I started trading live again, and it was pretty much, break even for a while, for at least another 6 months to a year, to where I was like really break even, not really seeing pretty much any results at the end of the week at all. I may make like, at the time it was probably like $200 or so a week, and then by the end of the week, I would either have lost that $200 or only profited maybe like $5 to $20 or something. It was like really minimal. So I was like back and forth with constant just like mindset shit, honestly, because like I'd constantly get like caught up like in this mentality, thinking, is this gonna work or not? Yeah, and like it pretty much fucked me up because I was working a job at the time, and I had lost all that money. Then I had to go back, basically what felt like square one, restart all over again, start with a new account. And I had to like relearn though, because ultimately I knew that I can't take another $1,000 loss like that in a day, just like being careless and stupid. Mistake number one, it was NFP, and you guys know I never ever trade NFP anymore. And I rarely trade Fridays, so that just depends on if the setup's actually there or not. But I mean, I guess how I dealt with it was ultimately I just went back to a demo account. I started, watching more videos again, just like learning. What really helped me was whenever I started like writing, not necessarily writing it down, but like journaling your trade. So whether that be like you record a video explaining, hey, I entered the market here, and then I exited the market at this level. Here's why I entered. Here's why I exited. All that. I took the trades based off of this. Or if you write it down in a journal, or if you like record like an audio file, however you do that, that's what I would suggest doing, because that's what I started doing about maybe like a year and a half ago. And that's really what kind of like propelled me to actually understand what I understand now, because I really like got more versed in the markets. Like I really understood what the markets were doing, and I understood what they were doing because I would either lose or I would win, and then I would analyze why I was right or why I was wrong, and how that actually ended up playing out would be, usually a lesson every single time. And I've been trading for pretty much 4 years now. 2014 is when I actually got started. And yeah, it was like late 2014. So almost three years and a couple months, but almost 4 years. What's the biggest success story of any of your trainees? So far, at least that I talk to on a regular basis, would be Alexio. That's the one that I posted on my YouTube channel. He took like a $30 account or something like that to almost $3,000, like 2,700 profit or something. It was a good bit. And we had like a live Q&A call where we pretty much like went over, what he did, how he got there, where he's from, how he started, all that stuff. So that would be at least the person that I know of that's seen the most success so far. But I do have a lot of people in my group that don't actually communicate with me on a daily basis because, they're busy, like whether that be with their job or family. They pretty much will just like take the signals or watch the daily technicals or live sessions, and that'll be it. But they don't, or if they have time, but it's pretty much they'll just communicate if they need anything specific, but they're not like super active in the community, like letting me know on a day-by-day basis like how their trades are going. But as far as I know, Alexio is the person so far. Gotta look at that. Hey, Walter, I never seen that movie, The Gambler, man. I'm actually going to be probably watching a movie later on tonight, so I'll have to check that out. Let me see what it's about right now. I feel like I've watched so many... Oh, this is with Mark Wahlberg? Yeah, I don't think I've seen this before. I'm going to have to check it out. I pretty much like any Mark Wahlberg movie. A journal's key to remember in your, yeah, man, like, so the whole thing with a journal is exactly that, right? Like, you want to figure out what you're doing good and you want to figure out what you're doing wrong, because at the point that you figure out, if you're journaling every single trade and you have, say you've taken 6 losses, and you look at those losses and you figure out, oh, they have one thing in common or they have 2 things in common. You take that and then you just remove it completely. You don't even use that at all in your trading plan. You know what I mean? Like, you just remove it completely. You don't even think about that anymore. So what you do is then you figure out what's working for you. What is causing you to win your trades? For me, that was trading during session times. So I only trade during London and New York session. That's it. I don't ever really trade Asia. I don't really find a specific need to. But if you trade like, UJ frequently or AUD USD, you can trade Asia session, frequently. But for me, I prefer trading Euro or GBP, so I trade London or New York session, and that's just what I prefer. But that's something that I noticed on a repeating basis. Like, every single time I would take a trade during London or New York session, I would usually make money most of the time. Not every single time, but most of the time I would profit. Now, if it was outside of session times, meaning, I woke up late and I was like, oh, I just want to take a trade now because I wasn't able to trade, and I wanted to just take a trade outside of session time, so just maybe middle of the day, whatever. The market would consolidate. I would lose money. I'd be watching the charts 24/7. Oh my God, should I get in? Should I get out? Taking profit really quickly after just having a few pips profit or a few pips lost and getting back in on the other side. I was just confused, like not even, understanding what I was doing. So after pulling the things from my journal that were actually working and implementing that, like, to be the things that are in my trading plan that I focus on, that's what changed everything. And it's, it's only a couple things. It doesn't have to be, thousands of things that you need to actually make money. The industry has a lot of different things that you can learn about it, and there's a lot of different things that you can learn about the market, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need all of those things that you know about the market to actually make money in the market. You really only need a few things, and the whole key is finding, the things that line up at a specific level that's at or near a higher time frame. For me, that's a daily time frame because I'm a day trader. If you're a swing trader, you may want to look at a weekly or monthly, but it just depends on what type of trader you are. Now, if you're like a scalper, you may only want to look at like a 1 hour time frame. So it's different for everybody. But focus on journaling. Walter is completely right. A journal is key to remembering your mistakes and your victories. There's no other way that you're gonna learn. Like, you're not conditioning yourself the right way by not doing that. So you're just trying to remember everything in your head, and maybe you can do that, but you want to have it down somewhere, like in video, audio, written format, of what you're looking for. And you also want to go over each trade you take, what you've done right, what you've done wrong. You have to learn from that stuff. That's how you learn from it. I started in 2016, didn't really know what I was doing. ICT student. Brexit came in June 23rd, made loads, but was still new. Then in August 9th, NFP, then lost it all. Yeah, man. Like, and that's the thing too, when you're a developing trader, right? Like, you go through these periods, like, especially where you like will have like a massive trade. Like, you may make, tons of money or whatever the case may be, but ultimately you can end up taking a trade days later or a week later and you can lose it all again. So like, and for me, the biggest thing was risk management, at the beginning. Like, I was really just trying to take this, small ass account and put as much risk on it as I possibly could, not knowing anything, just trying to make as much money as possible, because all I could think about was leaving my job and all I could think about was the money. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is like focusing on the pips, right? Because if you can catch 70 pips or 30 pips and you have, a standard lot that's $300 or $700, 10 standard lots that's $3,000 or $7,000. if you make that in a day, that's enough to be good for, a week, a month. Like, it just, depending on where you live, like that is a really good income to make something like that. And that only requires the knowledge of how to find 30 to 50 pips in the market, and people live off of that. So like, people will look for 30 to 50 pips a week, and they may catch that in a day, and then they're done trading for the rest of that week, maybe even the month. Like, think about it. If you catch 70 pips in a day on 10 standard lots and you made $7,000, do you need to go in and trade more that month? If your expenses are $2,000 to $3,000 and you have $4,000 profit the remainder of that month, you don't need to go in and trade again, right? It's just, as new and developing traders, everyone wants to constantly, keep trading and make more money, and that's not really the best thing to be focused on, because the thing that you should be focusing on is preserving your capital at all times. Risk management. Make sure that you're always using proper risk management. Otherwise, you're just going to continuously to like lose money and all that stuff. And that's really what happened to me at the beginning, Terrell. So I could totally relate to what you're saying about making all that money during Brexit, which was fucking insane. I can't believe that you were even trading that. But so if you are an ICT student, then the precision that Brexit move had whenever it did push up to that level. Yeah, man. So that's wild. Props to you though for trading Brexit. You got some big balls for that. Okay, Alpha. Yeah. Just check out you'll see it. It just says like $30 to $2,700 profit. You'll see it, and just check that out. It's a little long, but it's definitely worth a listen, especially if you're starting with like a small amount of capital, because this dude started with $30. Yeah, so let me see. Wait, hold on. I just lost the question I was looking for. How long did it take you to get consistency? So I've been trading for a total of 4 years. It really took me about 2 years to kind of like navigate my way through and like figure out, what specifically I was looking for, and also like critique all the things I was doing right and wrong. And pretty much at the 2-year mark, I started getting to that point to where I was seeing consistency. So like where I would, end every single week and every single month, usually in profit. If I did end a week in the negative, then, going into the following week, it would generally be made back, relatively quickly, to where I would end the month profit overall. So consistency started really for me March, I would say 2016. So about 2 years, a little over 2 years. March 2016. March 2017. I think I'm tripping. We're in 2018 June. March 2017. So yeah. It's really different though, depending on, like who you learn from, and I guess specifically like how much time that you have to actually put into learning. Because for me at the time, for really the first 2 years, I was pretty much working a job trying to actually learn to trade on the side. So I didn't really have like my full focus on it. Once I started really like focusing though every single night, regardless of if I had work or not, I would just stay up at night and then focus through London session, watching the charts, watching what they do. And then that's pretty much what led me to getting to the point to where I was eventually consistent. But, I've literally seen people go weeks and months and they're already understanding it. So it depends on, who you are as a person, and also like who you're learning from. It took me about a year and a half just to actually find ICT, which was the person that I ended up learning from. It depends on, like, what you're doing and all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much what happened for me. Your subscription, is it billed automatically each month? Yeah, so I do have Alpha. I'm assuming what you're talking about is my premium group. The premium group is billed automatically each month. So it's just like, you sign up on PayPal and then it automatically comes out of either your PayPal account or your debit or credit card, whatever one that you sign up with. Now, if you don't want to continue, into a future month, you can cancel at any time. So for example, if you signed up and you wanted to cancel next month, then just cancel before your payment is actually due, and then you won't be charged for the next month. So cancel at any time, but it is billed automatically until you or reach out to me and I can cancel it on my end for you. I only trade euro and cable, just trade daily, then 1 hour, then order block or breaker. Yeah, dude, that's the thing with euro and cable. If you're watching euro and cable and you really understand order blocks and breakers, that's all you need. Literally that's all you need, because you already know that there are tons of setups in euro and cable all throughout London session and through New York session that you can just easily capitalize on a continuation or a potential, session reversal. So yeah, euro and cable, order blocks and breakers. That's pretty much all I focus on too. Like my style and my strategy is, exactly this. I'll run down the list with you. So I have to be in session times, London and New York session. I start on a daily time frame and figure out what direction the market's going to go. So at that point, I'm formulating ideas and I'm getting my directional bias. So have we traded into support? Have we traded into resistance? Have we just cleared out an old low, old high? Where are we in terms of, the swing that we're within? So I factor in all that stuff and figure out, what way is the market likely going to go next, up or down, for the next day. And then from there, what I do is I drop down to, so I'm starting on a daily, then I move to a 4 hour. I mark out any levels on the 4 hour that are clearer there that aren't on the daily. And then from there, move down to a 1 hour, wait for a break of structure. So for example, if we're trading into a daily order block, a daily bullish ICT order block, or we've just taken out an old low, and I'm expecting the market to go higher, then what I would wait for is on a 1 hour time frame, I'd wait for the market to break structure. And then after that structure was broken, I would enter based off of that order block or the breaker that was created based off of that push up. And that's pretty much exactly what I do for every single trade that I take. And a lot of times I'm trading based around the news. So I don't trade like NFP or FOMC, anything like that. But I trade using the news as an extra volatility injection. So, for example, if New York session, 7:30 a.m., there is high impact news for dollar index, and I'm trading cable, then that's gonna propel the move even more, because there's gonna be a lot of movement in dollar index, which is paired with GBP USD. So yeah, I trade around the news as well, but all of those like things, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour. All of that is what I factor in to basically tie in right around the same time as the news. So for just as an example, if we have news due out at 7:30 and then the market trades into support at 7 and then we break structure at 7:15 and then we trade into that right at 7:30, that's everything is aligned. That's a perfect setup, right? So you're just looking for all of those things to align, but I use news as an extra, just confluence basically to, align with whatever I'm looking to trade that day. Time of day, yeah, man. Time of day is key. Yeah, Alpha, if you only need $10 to $22 a day to make a full salary, I mean, that's simple, man. You don't need much money to get started. You put some money in an account, and if we're talking about $10, or even $20, that's 10 pips or 20 pips on one mini lot, so 0.10. You can, 10 to 20 pips a day, man, that's very easy. That's very easy to obtain in the market, especially after you know what you're doing. But, pretty much every single signal I call, I'm looking for 20 pips minimum. Now, if the market's not moving, I will close it out early, and we may take, a 10 pip or 8 pip or something like that profit, just if the market's not moving. But ideally, I look for 20 pips minimum. But, we've seen trades that have gone up 120 to 130 pips that we've seen in just a day. So, it really depends, but I look for low risk, high probability, and also high reward on every single trade I take. So I'm not looking to trade. If I'm risking $1, I'm not looking to make $1. If I'm risking $1, I'm pretty much looking to make $3. So for every trade I take, I'm looking for like 3 to 1 or 5 to 1 reward to risk ratio. That way, if I ever take a loss, so say I do lose 1, then I have a winning trade next and I won 5, then that loss, I still profited 4. So that's how I do all this. Let me move my question box over here because it's like hard to see. All right, that's my problem. I'll get up 10% or more and keep going. Got to learn to make a daily goal and stop when I hit it. Just if I hit it first, trade. Yeah, man. So, and that's the thing. You're not the only one. This is literally, it's a process that every single trader goes through. It's a developing process. And by you realizing that, though, like that's a key, because let me plug my computer in. Hold on. By you realizing that you are over trading, though, but you are able to obtain that 10% or whatever it may be, that's important. That's really important to actually be able to realize that. But, the key now is to take action on that. If you understand that, then take action on it and actually try to set those daily goals. And then, by setting those daily goals, you're going to have your weekly goals, your monthly goals, your yearly goals. And then all you want to do, man, just like keep checking them off. Like have, like if you have like a little book. So if you have like some type of little book like this, you can literally just like write down, all the stuff, all the different like goals or whatever that you would have specifically for the day. And it doesn't have to be in a book, but however you want to, like write down those daily goals, but like make them achievable. If you can really get 10% per day, pretty much every day, then set that as your goal. And once you hit that, stop, just completely stop, just close down your charts and go do something completely different for the day. Because dude, if you're making 10% a day, just do the math of that every single month, and then do the math of that in a year, and do the math of what you'll have in 10 years, and it's ridiculous. So yeah, trust me, man. Like if you realize it, that's good. It's good that you realize exactly what you told me. Now just make sure that you take action to change it. That's it. Because what you have to understand too is the market will, so you can be right a lot, right? But the odds of you being right every single time are very slim. So when that loss does come, you don't want to give back, all your profits. So, you need to make sure that you're always using proper risk management for one, taking partial profits. Like you just want to make sure that you actually treat this like, a business, and the primary focus of pretty much any one or any business is to preserve capital. So like that's what you need to do, is make sure that you preserve your cap, like use proper risk management, because you're not just going to throw all this money, to this and just hope it works, right? This isn't lottery or gambling. You have to actually like know what you're looking at. As you develop confidence, and you may already have the confidence or whatever, but once you have more confidence, you'll start to know what's a right or wrong trade to actually take, and then the money will be, or the percentage gains will be no question, because you'll know what you're able to do and you'll know your potential. But just focus on those daily goals though, because you don't want to lose sight of that you're actually developing, but you want to critique and improve as you develop. Oh, Terrell, man, I cannot trade GJ, and the fact that you traded that during Brexit, that's crazy. That's wild. I've traded GJ probably like twice in my life. I don't even think I've made any money off of GJ ever. I really don't ever trade it. It's just like, and ideally, because it's one of the pairs that ICT would always talk about, it's the beast. I wouldn't trade this. Like, and I pretty much like took everything that he said, and I would just follow it and do it. Because I knew, like, if this dude is this good and he's able to do these things, like if I'm able to learn, and I actually like allow myself to learn, then it's no question that I'll be able to do what he does. And I just wasn't. I took GJ and I said, no way, I'm not about to trade this pair ever. It's too volatile for me, man. It's crazy. So I'm from Louisiana originally, but I'm out in Cali now. I live in LA. No, wait, hold on. Just lost the question again. Yeah, I went through ICT's mentorship, Terrell. I went through it last year. What is the bare minimum deposit that you would suggest is doable? I mean, like, it really looks, if you're only looking to make $10 to $20 a day, I would say, $100 would be fine. Like, you could put $100 in there, and then look to basically make that $10 or $20 a day with that, and using, in terms of position size, I would say, look, here's a super simple thing that I've pretty much, been saying to do for risk management. If you want to use higher risk and you want to try to make more money, then for every $100, use 0.10, so one mini lot. Okay, so if you have $500, max risk would be 0.5. That doesn't mean 0.5 on every single trade. It just means 0.5 broken up over however many trades you take. So if you take 2 trades, then each trade should only be 0.25 in terms of lot size. So this is a simple way to calculate risk management. So from what I've gathered so far from what you said, it seems like you only want to make $10 to $20 a day. That'll be enough. $100 would be plenty, in my opinion, to do that with. 0.10 would be the highest risk that I would ever recommend that you use for $100. And then 0.01 would be the ideal low risk to use for a $100 account. So if you have a $500 account, 0.05 would be the low risk. High risk would be 0.5. So you're just moving the decimal and you're adding a 0 for lower risk. So yeah, just make sure that that if you do alpha, if you do actually put $100 in and you are looking to make that $10 to $20 a day, and you're brand new, don't start with the 0.10 unless you're like taking my signals or something like that. It would be different. But if you're trying to trade on your own completely 100%, 0.01 for every single $100. That's all I would ever recommend for you to use. As you develop your confidence, you can build up your lot size, which will ultimately increase the amount of money that you make. GBP, USD, GBP, JPY is my favorite pairs. Nice. Yeah, GBP, USD, so cable, that's hands down my favorite pair. That's pretty much what I trade every single day. Now, GJ, GBP, JPY, I don't trade that. Not my thing. But cable, definitely my favorite pair. GBP, USD, and Euro USD are my two favorites. Yeah, so see, you learned your lesson, Terrell. You can't trade the beast anymore, dude. It's wild, man. Like you can't. There's so much volatility. It's it's not even worth the risk, to be honest. Yeah, ICT is definitely the man. No, I don't. I don't know about any of his cars that he has. I'm assuming he's got plenty of money, so he can pretty much get whatever he wants. Cool. So yeah, you went through with me, Terrell. Why do brokers offer bonus accounts, let's say $50, but with only a minimum lot size of zero point 0.1? What do you mean, Alpha? Like bonus accounts, like I've seen it where if you put uh so say you put a $100 deposit in there, they'll do like they can do like 100% matching bonus, where they'll give you an additional $100, making it $200. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you saying brokers give you $50 in your account? Oh, okay, so you can't go any lower than zero point 0.1. I got you. Yeah, well then in that case, uh, so here's the thing. If you're required to use zero point 0.1, I'm not sure specifically what broker that you're with, uh, but the broker that I use, you can use less than zero point 0.1, and there are plenty of brokers out there where you can use less than zero point 0.1. If you get in my premium group and all that, I'll send you the links, and you'll have access to the same broker that I use. So you can use less than zero point 0.1 lot size with them. Now, if you do only have that $50 and it's a bonus account, meaning you didn't deposit any money of your own in there, they put $50 credited to you in there, then I would check the terms on that, because I wouldn't know what like the withdrawal process is. So like for example, if they credited $50 to your account and you made $500 and you wanted to withdraw 450, I don't know if you can specifically do that or not, since it is a bonus account. Like I don't know how that works. I haven't had any experience with those, but I have had an account, like a broker in an account with like a deposit bonus, where I would put money in and then it would match my deposit 100%, and that would put a credit on my account. So if it was $100, they would match it 100%. I'd have $200, and that would give me more. Like I'd be able to use a higher position size because of that. So I'm not sure specifically why that broker that you have is that way, but there are plenty of brokers where you can use less than zero point 0.1 lot size, which is actually if you're going to be trading with $100 or less by yourself, and not really getting help from anyone, then I would definitely make sure that you switch to a different broker, probably where you can use less than zero point 0.1, just to make sure you always keep that risk low. Again, whatever broker you want is totally up to you. I mean, there is no right or wrong broker, but it's just you want to make sure that you're focused on keeping risk low, and I'm just trying to keep like trying to give you the best advice to keep your risk low, if that makes sense. Do you meditate? I don't like meditate. No, I really don't. I'd honestly like to like do that more. I've been trying to like stretch every couple hours. I would like to do it every hour. I just need to set like an alarm or a reminder or something to actually do that. Because I sit here a lot, at the desk, whether that be looking at charts, making videos, whatever I'm doing, and it can be, obviously not good to sit down all the time. So, yeah, I mean, I ideally would like to start meditating and doing different things like that, but hold on, guys. I'm trying to figure out where is this music coming from. Oh, sorry. No, ideally I would like to start meditating more, but because I've done it a few times, but only like through like an app, Headspace or whatever it's called on my phone. But that's all I've done. Like I haven't done like a specific, like I really don't know anything about meditating. I haven't spent much time like looking into it, but I'd really like to get into that more, just so I can kind of like incorporate that into my routine. But I've been trying to stretch more, so that's kind of like that. And I'll, go outside for a little bit each day, ride my bike or skateboard, just to kind of like do something active. But yeah, I'd like to start meditating because I don't, but I do know a lot of successful people talk about meditating, and I'd like to actually start doing that. It's a bonus they give for a limited time, and whatever profits were made can be withdrawn after the time elapsed. The account will be zeroed out. But to withdraw, their required number of lots to be traded can be made so after the bonus. Oh, okay, I see, Alpha. Well, that's pretty cool, man. I mean, yeah, if you can, if you get a free $50, go ahead and, try to build it up to a few $100, and then you can move that to another account, maybe trade it with a little less risk, or even if your confidence is built up, whatever, go balls deep and make a ton of money, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's cool. So was there a specific question that you had about that broker? I see that you said, why do brokers offer bonus accounts, let's say $50, but with only a minimum lot size of 0.1? I mean, I don't really know why they do it specifically, other than the fact to just try to get more people to know about their broker. So, I mean, if that was the question, yeah, I just think, people, if you're a broker company and you're a business, and, there's tons of competition out there. There's tons of different brokers. So what they want to do is get as many people to hear about them as possible. So how they do that is they offer you, a free $50 to come in and trade with, but they know that most people are likely inexperienced traders and will pretty much lose that $50, which is just a credit that they put on your account. It's nothing to them. And in return, you've gotten to learn about them and see the type of broker that they are. So likely when you go to actually deposit funds in the future, that'll likely be with them, and that's pretty much their end goal, I'm guessing, by giving you the free $50. Normally, I like to move around the house with your laptop. Yeah, hey, that's a good idea. I've actually never done that before. And the primary reason that I don't is I really don't like trade specifically off my laptop. So I have like two screens, one right here and then another one right here, and my laptop in the middle. And I don't ever really like have the charts up on my laptop. If anything, it's like a YouTube video, or I'm like playing music, or I have the Telegram group open on here, but I generally don't have my charts up open on here. I have a 25 and a 23-inch monitor that I keep my charts up on because it's easier for me to see. And anytime that I'm like using my laptop by itself, I feel like I can't do anything because like I'm so limited in terms of like space. But when I'm sitting at my desk, I have two extra screens, so I have so much more room to like have like tabs open in different like apps or whatever I'm doing on my computer. But yeah, moving around the house is actually a good idea. I just don't have like a lot of like, I guess, cool areas to go like post up with my laptop and trade, so I stay here. But I mean, that's actually a pretty good idea. What I need to do is like go outside or something, but I don't have Wi-Fi outside. I don't have a balcony, and I have like a area that I could go outside where they have Wi-Fi in my building, but the only thing with that is it closes at like 11 p.m. or something like that. So I can't trade London or New York in there because on the West Coast it's so early or late at night that they, the little outdoor area isn't open. Yeah, no, I heard ICT said that he does meditate and all that. So like, and that's, ideally why I want to get into it, because, not only him, but I've heard multiple different successful people like Jeff Bezos and other like documentaries or, videos I've watched on like highly successful people. One of the things that they do is meditate. And, that's a clear indicator saying that, if they're meditating, I should probably meditate too, like, and that's really like the thing with anything, like everybody, so many people at least, and I was one of those people that, thought that you're either like born into money or like you have to like know somebody to get, rich, or, like whatever the case may be. But like nowadays, like the era that we live in, technology, internet, all this stuff, like you can pretty much make money doing anything. Like if you really think about what we do, like we just look at charts, which is money painted on a screen, and we basically execute trades whether we think it's going to go up or down, and we get to make money by doing that from anywhere in the world. We can be in our bed, we can be on a beach, it doesn't matter. As long as you have Wi-Fi and some sort of device to look at the charts and you know what you're looking at, you can pretty much make money. Like it's crazy if you really think about it, because like, where we were years ago, that's unheard of. And like it's still like some people still they can't fathom it or understand that it's possible. But it's possible to make money, and you don't have to work for someone else to actually do that. And see, I came from a small town, so this was just like a misconception that pretty much everyone in the town had. So if you are from a small town, then trust me, I'm here to tell you that you can make money and you can do a lot of crazy things, and you don't need to know somebody or to also like be born into money. You can make money on your own with the world that we live in today. So Terrell, do you use like a specific app, or is there like a website or something that I can like just give me some advice on like what I need to do to like to get into this whole meditation thing? Because 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes at night, like what do? Do you sit, like should I just sit down and like like what do I do? Do I just like breathe, sit there, listen to music, or is there like an app? Do you use one of the apps, like the Headspace thing? How do you meditate? Let me know what's up, because I seriously have no idea what to do. And honestly, like I can just sit on the floor, but I don't really feel like I'm doing anything. So I want to like really understand like what should I do? Yeah, Alpha. Totally, man. Whenever you're ready to, like, if you really need anything, man, if you need help or have questions, like, you don't, just reach out. Reach out. No big deal. Hit me up on Instagram or Facebook, any of that stuff, or just drop a comment on one of my YouTube videos. I'll see it here. So, do I trade cryptos? No, I don't trade cryptos. I traded Ripple, like December or whatever it was. A lot of people were talking about Ripple, and a couple other people that I follow were talking about it. So I was looking at that, and I did buy Ripple and made a little bit of money on that, but it wasn't like I wasn't margin trading crypto. Like I was buying physical crypto and like storing it on a little hardware wallet. Yeah, but I cashed out once it was like at $3 or so. It was like at $3.20 or something like that. And pretty much right before it ended up making the high, I just cashed out everything because I had gotten in under $1. So I got in 30 cents, 50 cents, and like right around 80 cents. So I just cashed out once we hit like $3 or whatever, and I never look at cryptos again. Occasionally I do look at Bitcoin just for like shits and giggles because I know there's so many people out there that are like, heavy on Bitcoin being like, 50,000 or whatever they were saying last year. And like whatever, it could totally do that. Like I don't know, but the market that we're in, it's a bearish market. Like it is a full-on bearish market. If you look at the daily time frame, there's so many things indicating that we're in a bearish market. The market is trading up to every level of resistance, respecting it, and then selling off, making a new lower low. So I don't see any buying at the moment in Bitcoin, but like that's something that I do check on a pretty frequent basis, at least once or twice a week, just because I want to know like what are these like crypto gurus like out there, what are they telling people and what's actually happening. And I like to like know that I have kind of like the little inside scoop, by just like understanding price action, and then seeing like a bunch of people out there. They're like, oh, Bitcoin made the new low. I think it's definitely going to go back up to the 20,000 or whatever. I mean, they sound stupid. What I do is I just play meditation music for 20 minutes and literally just focus on your breathing through your nose or mouth. Okay, cool. Alright, well then yeah, I'm going to have to try that. I'll have to like go sit somewhere that's like pretty quiet and just like put on some headphones and just control my breathing. Cool. So I'll do that, man, because I definitely want like some sort of like I'd pretty much what I'd like to do is every time before I trade, London or New York session, wake up 20 minutes earlier and get that meditation in beforehand, and then go in and trade, because I feel like that could just give me so much, such a clearer head. Grab some more Ripple. Man, I haven't checked that chart in forever. Let me look at it. Yeah, it's I can't justify buying this. I mean, like it's below $1, sure, that's cool, and like it's could be a good buying opportunity, and it could make another crazy move up like it did in December. But I mean, looking at this, like, and especially like going into the summer, like summer months are usually, like not really too busy of a month, like months at least. And, crypto may be a little different, but ideally it's probably going to be the same. And, to me, it's made a lower low. So I don't see, until we break structure and make a higher high in Ripple, like I could never actually buy it on margin or physical, because I don't actually see a way to justify if I actually bought it. But I mean, if you actually did want to buy Ripple or something like that, and you see all this stuff lining up in the charts, don't ever let my opinion sway you from taking on a potential opportunity. I got screwed when I first started trading Forex. I prematurely liquidated my Ripple, and the mentor never even called a trade for me. I even traded on my own. Sorry, but if it goes into bank flows and the value makes a big... Oh yeah, no, I totally agree, man. Like if people like, so I believe in crypto and all that stuff. Like, I'm not saying that I don't believe in crypto and that it could be, the next thing, but I just need to like have it in the charts and actually have clear price action before actually executing a trade based off of it. But for example, if Ripple does make some announcement and they're partnering with this specific company, that will definitely have some big surges in that market. You will see probably significant if they're using XRP itself. But yeah, no, that will definitely affect the market, I'm sure. But again, I just can't justify like buying it unless I actually have like the things in my criteria that's met first, and then I'll actually, go in and do that and take the trade at least. I have a few Ripple left, so I'm hoping to sell it, start back. Nice. Yeah, I bought, it was, so the low formed in Ripple like December 7th, and I bought it probably somewheres in December. Might have been a little bit before that, maybe like December 3rd or 4th or so. And I sat through a little bit of drawdown, but again, I was buying like physical Ripple, so it wasn't like, it wasn't all margin, so it was very minimal. And then, it shot up a good bit. So I mean, that move that we had up, in December, January was beautiful in crypto, but at the end of the day, like, there's nothing. That was kind of just like a guess, there was no real confirmation until it actually broke above the structure and then came back and retested it. I'm 24. Self-development books, yeah, check it out. Got this one, Gary V. It's the man right here. This is pretty much like, I follow everything this dude says in terms of like just like living life. So this would definitely be one. And so I don't have the book that started it, but the first book that I read was probably like most of you have read if you're an entrepreneur, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. That was the first book that kind of introduced me to the whole like entrepreneur, like understanding like that there's something different out there. Because like for a while, I knew that I wanted to make a lot of money, but I never knew that it's actually possible to make a lot of money, because again, where I come from, like, you don't see things like you see like in LA, for example. You see, $500,000, $1 million cars rolling down the street. Like, you'll roll down Rodeo Drive and see a Bugatti. Like, that's wild. You don't see that stuff in Louisiana. So when you start to like see the stuff's real, but like really what opened my eyes up to it was Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I don't have that book with me because I gave it to a friend to read, which he never read, which is crazy. But anyways, Cash Flow Quadrant, this one here was the next one that I read. And if you can see right here at the bottom, there's 4 different quadrants that they talk about in this book. And it's an employee, self-employed, business, and investor. And this is probably one of the best books that I read, because it really goes over and explains what each specific quadrant is, and how the people are in each quadrant, and how you can move pretty much from the left side, which is employee and self-employed, over to the right side, which is business and investor. So this is a really good book, Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And Yeah, I mean, this kind of like, this is all mindset stuff, right? Like this is all stuff that'll help you like understand like, you know, what's possible, like keep you motivated, keep you wanting to like grind and actually like get this stuff and like, you know, work for yourself, all that. But this book definitely good if that's some stuff that you're into. But yeah, there's a couple more that I got. I haven't finished this one. Rich Dad's Guide to Investing. And you know, things like this, like investing books, I don't like to buy these, and I definitely don't like to read them much because like I know a lot about price action and technical analysis in the markets. So like some of these things that, you know, they may go over in here, you know, I don't know if he actually teaches like specifics because again, I haven't like gone you know, too much in detail. I think I only read a couple pages of this one, but it's about 500 or so pages. So this is a pretty big one. But yeah, pretty much any book I've read so far from Robert Kiyosaki has been really good. But this is one of the ones that, you know, it's I don't know necessarily, but it's Guide to Investing. I haven't really like experienced, you know, what he talks about in here, but it's really from the beginning of it, it was just like investing in, you know, like longer term wealth, so like real estate and different things like that. But stock market and all that stuff, I don't know if he goes over any type of like indicators or things that you should use. But again, I wouldn't focus on any of that because this guy is a entrepreneur and a very good entrepreneur and an author. But by all means, he's not a trader. So if he's, I don't think he's trying to teach anyone how to trade, but yeah. So that is those, and then I have one more, and this one is a really short book, but this is actually probably a pretty good book that I'd recommend for anybody that just wants to like kind of, I guess, understand like yourself more. And this is called Managing Oneself by Peter Drucker. And it's a short book too. This one's only like 50 pages or 60 pages. And you could see like it's really, you know, short pages, words, all that stuff. Spacing's big. It's like a really short book. But check it out. That's a good little self-development book too. So these would be the ones, or at least these are the ones that I have right next to me that I can show you guys. So, but yeah, definitely recommend them all. They're all good books. Just watching him. I guess you're talking about Gary Vee, and if so, yeah, man, I watch. He's all over my Instagram and Facebook because, you know, I follow him everywhere, and he's putting out content every single day. So I see, you know, every single thing pretty much that Gary posts. But yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a really good freaking dude. What book are you talking about, Terrell? What a good book? If you're talking about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yeah, that's a really good book. Think and Grow Rich, that's a really good book too. Yeah, definitely. That is like the foundational book. Like everyone, I feel like if they're like interested in, you know, making money online or entrepreneurship, whatever it is, it's like Think and Grow Rich is the first book that they read. It's a really good book. All right, guys. Well, if you have any other questions, just post them in the chat box really quickly. But I am going to go ahead and wrap up. We've been on here for about an hour now. So, what time is it? 1:42. Okay, yeah. So post any questions if you guys have them. But I want to wrap this up in the next few minutes so I can get to my appointment at 2. The Gary Vee book, I haven't read the whole Gary Vee book yet, but I mean, if it's on an audiobook, that's honestly probably what I'm going to listen to versus actually reading the book. But I read like a few pages of it, and it's pretty much just going over like the process that people used to actually like crush it using social media, and like, but their like success from using those tactics or whatever, and like how they did it. So yeah, I haven't really got around to actually reading it or checking to see if there's an audiobook because I've been pretty busy, but definitely worth getting, you know, at least because I definitely support Gary. I haven't read anything by Earl Nightingale, but there is one. Let me see if I can find it. There's one thing that I used to listen to all the time by Earl Nightingale. Oh, The Strangest Secret. Listen to that. Unless you've already heard it. But yeah, The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. I haven't read any of his stuff, but that is something that, you know, everyone should definitely listen to. The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale. Check that out. That's good stuff in there. Cool. No worries, Terrell. Have a good one, brother. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Thank you guys for everyone that came out and spend some time with me, asked your questions, hung out, chat, all that stuff. So I will be going live pretty frequently on my YouTube channel. And whenever I do have a schedule for that, I will update you guys and let you know. So again, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys in the next one.